I'm an EVA for EV2.
Copy, EVA for EV2. Shane, switch the depressed pump manual isolation valve to open and expect an alert tone.
And ISO is open.
The emergency MPV is now open, and on your DCMs, monitor the seat pressure gauge stays less than 5.5. Our next trigger will be when you get to 2.0 PSI.
10 mark, copy.
We're in a brief handover between satellites on our tracking and data relay satellite system, about to regain our downlink video from the station, and there it is. The depressurization of the crew lock section of Quest has resumed after a brief pause. Good leak checks on the crew's spacesuits. Everything in order for the start of today's spacewalk coming up in just a few minutes.
Feed 5 and stable, EV1.
Copy.
Feed 5 for EV2.
Once again, if you're just joining us on NASA television and on the web, we are moments away from the start of the third spacewalk in the past 9 days by Shane Kimbrough and Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency. Today's spacewalk to remove from flight support equipment the second of the two ISS rollout solar arrays designed to augment the power capability of the International Space Station. This particular array to be moved over to the far port truss, the P6 truss, on the left side of the International Space Station, to be installed on a mounting bracket and then unfolded and unfurled for the 4B power channel, joining a similar array that was installed this past Sunday and unfolded for the 2B power channel. That array is up and running and generating great electrical capability.
On 2, Thomas. 2.0 right now.
I copied your reading 2.0. With the reading of 2.0, Shane, you can switch the depressed pump manual isolation valve to closed.
ISO is closed.
On the UIA, Shane, switch the depressed pump power to off.
Depressed pump power is off.
Copy, off. Go ahead and report your initial tether configuration for egress.
All right. I'll start from my left steering extender. I have my red hook closed and locked, black on black. Goes to my red reel, which is unlocked. The yellow hook goes to my medium workstation. On my red reel, I have Shane's yellow hook closed, locked, black on black. Goes to his red reel that I see unlocked and Shane, you can pick it up from there because I don't really see it after that.
I have my right waist tether on the airlock waist tether, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 hooks are locked. Left safety tether, red, there it is.
I see it, yeah.
Red hook is on my left E-ring extender, closed and locked.
Thank you.
Okay, I see that as a safe config. If the ground wants to double check something, they can give us a call. I'm going to progress. So when the crew lock PDT is approximately 0, you both can expect an alert tone.
Copy.
And when we get to a half PSI on the PCS here, I'll call the ground to confirm that they agree that we've gotten to less than half PSI, and then we'll give you the next steps.
Good luck.
Ground copies and concurs, and that's a good tether config.
Hi, Jenny, and hi, TV18.
The pressure inside the crew lock across the hatch from where you're looking right now, where Mark Vandehei is, the two spacewalkers are jammed inside the crew lock, side by side, standing by for the crew lock to go down to vacuum, at which point they'll be allowed to open the hatch. First, the outer thermal cover will pop open. Following that, the hatch will be open. The crew members will place their suits on internal battery power to mark the official start of today's spacewalk. The new ISS rollout solar arrays that are in the process of being installed on the station today, the second of 6 such arrays, are the precursors to a derivative of those that will be used for the Gateway program. The Gateway program developing an outpost that will orbit the moon to provide support for the long-term human return to the lunar surface, as well as a staging point for deep space exploration. You can see the difference in the current ISS, the so-called legacy or heritage ISS solar array wings for the 8 power channels on the International Space Station. The smaller rollout solar arrays that are in the process of being installed on the station to increase the power capability of the complex by some 120 kilowatts when they're all installed, all 6 of them, and the PPE, or power and propulsion element, solar array wings or rollout solar arrays that will be developed from the technology being gleaned from the current set of solar arrays being installed on the station for the Gateway program. Elements will be about 60 feet long by 32 feet wide, weighing about 950 pounds of mass. So today's activities and 4 additional solar arrays to be installed on the station after today will be the forerunner for the types of power generation systems that will be used for the Gateway program around the moon. We are approaching 1 pound of pressure per square inch in the crew lock section of Quest. The spacewalking team in mission control reporting 2 good suits for Pesquet and Kimbrough as they stand by. Lock go down to vacuum.
Airlock Houston on 1. We're tracking 6 to 8 more minutes of depress.
Copy, Jimmy.
Pressure in the crew lock steadily creeping down to 0. A view through the porthole at the hatchway between the equipment lock and the crew lock. You can see movement by one of the 2 spacewalkers through the window. The International Space Station is currently flying 255 statute miles over Newfoundland, about to begin a northwest to southeasterly track across the North Atlantic in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. Just a few more minutes before we reach vacuum. Everything proceeding on time, on track for the start of today's spacewalk, the third in the past 9 days in support of the deployment and unfolding and unfurling of the first two ISS rollout solar arrays. Almost at vacuum. Megan MacArthur in the field of view there momentarily. She'll be driving the Canadarm2 robotic arm today with Thomas Pesquet at the end of the arm, who will be hauling the ISS rollout solar array from the flight support structure that it is currently attached to over to the Port 6 Truss work site. He'll then hand it off to Shane Kimbrough. He'll get out of a foot restraint at the end of the arm and receive a handoff back from Kimbrough of the array as the two work in tandem to install it on a mounting bracket on the so-called mod kit previously installed on a past spacewalk as one of the key moments in today's activities to install and unfurl this second of 6 planned rollout solar arrays.
Gauge on the EV hatch, and I'm going to take the hatch to open. Okay, can you screw over to your right a little bit? All right, the hatch is unlatched. LEDs open.
Thanks.
Copy, the hatch is open. Is it stowed as well, Thomas?
Please open and stowed.
With that, I'm turning the emergency MPEV to closed.
We need lights outside, Shane.
Okay, emergency MPEV.
The hatch is open to the crew lock section of Quest.
Assisting you with today. Good luck. And Jenny, we're looking forward to working with you as well. Over to you.
Call for you.
Thank you, Mark and Megan. Well done. I am ready to pick up in post depress. Thomas and Shane, switch power to bat. Stagger your switch throws. Expect warning tones.
One's in bat.
ED2 and bat.
Copy. Check your display switches functional.
The switch is functional EV1.
Functional EV2.
Copy. Display switch is functional. On the UIA, switch power EV1 and 2 off OFF and check power EV1 and 2 LEDs. All 4 are off OFF.
Our EV1 and 2 switches are off. LEDs are off.
Disconnect your SCUs from your DCMs. Install your DCM covers and stow your SCUs in their pouches.
Good work.
Work.
SU still in the cover for EV1.
Same for EV2.
Copy. Check depress pump man ISO valve closed.
And ISO valve is closed.
Temperature control valve max hot.
This is Mission Control Houston. Kimbrough and Pesquet have placed their suits on battery power at 6:52 a.m. Central Time, 7:52 a.m. Eastern Time, marking the start of today's spacewalk, the 241st spacewalk in support of space station assembly maintenance and upgrades. Again, our spacewalk now officially underway as Pesquet and Kimbrough have placed their suits on battery power, 6:52 a.m. Central Time, 7:52 a.m. Eastern Time.
We copy, Shane. That's expected in the depress. We're not concerned with the suit pressure that you just read us.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we got temperature control valves in max hot for EV1.
And max hot EV2.
Copy. Temperature control valves in max hot. Switch water on.
Water is on EV1.
Water on EV2.
Check DCM blank and bite off.
And blank, bike off EV1.
CM blank, bite off EV2.
Temp control valve set as desired.
Spacewalk communicator Jenny Seide, a Canadian Space Agency astronaut here in Mission Control, running through the post-battery power steps with the crew. The hatch is opened to the Quest airlock.
Pressure gauge and report it.
Waiting for the outer thermal cover to be open. Pesquet will be first out. He's wearing the suit with the red stripes as EV1 or extravehicular crew member number 1. The helmet cam number will be 20 for Pesquet.
Copy.
Shane Kimbrough's helmet camera number is 22. Kimbrough wearing the unmarked suit.
Okay, and with that, Thomas, you can open the hatch thermal cover, stow the hook on the stiffener tether point, and cinch strap until snug. We're expecting 6 lines visible.
Mark. It's cinched, 6 lines, and I'm opening the thermal cover.
Copy, 6 lines.
Jenny would go for egress.
Affirm, you can egress the airlock. Thomas, you're taking crew lock bag 1 with you. Verify forward hat pitch pin engaged.
Alright, so I'm going to egress in yellow. Get ready for crew lock bag 1. Red on it, you can let go of the other red shade.
Okay, and work. Okay, that's done.
Good.
Our first view of the Quest airlock, about to celebrate the 20th anniversary of its use, having been installed on a mission of the shuttle Atlantis to the International Space Station in July of 2001 on the STS-104 mission. Thomas Pesquet first out, beginning the 5th spacewalk in his career.
Hey. Got crew lock bag 1 and Jenny, if you agree, I'll start checking the last load irrigating strap on the 6 feathers. It's good for both, so you know, right?
Copy, Thomas. You can agree. You can store your crew lock bag on your BRT. We'll also have you turn on your HECA, and then you're correct. You'll move on to inspecting the load alleviating straps on the tethers.
So that is done, Jenny, and I'm gonna, my HECA is on. I'm gonna put my green hook on my yellow hook on the green reel. Black on black. You agree?
Standby 1, Thomas. Have you turned on your HECA?
Yes, Jenny, I've turned on my HECA.
Okay, and you inspected both load alleviating straps?
Yes, I've reported this. This is done for both, and my green hook is on my, my yellow hook is on my green reel, locked, black on black.
Okay, copy. You can attach the forward safety tether green hook to your red reel.
Good work.
Once Pesquet has completed the configuration of his tethers at the vicinity of the hatchway to the Quest airlock, Shane Kimbrough will be next out.
Those reels are unlocked, and the yellow hook is locked.
Copy, Thomas. That's a good config. You can attach Shane's yellow hook to the green reel on the aft external D-ring.
Yeah, that's the work, Jenny. And Shane's yellow hook is now attached to the aft green reel. The hook is closed and locked black on black. The green reel is unlocked.
Copy. Attach Shane's green hook to his red reel.
Shane's green hook is now attached to his red reel, and the reel is unlocked.
We're tracking a good tether config with good checks, so you can give Shane a go to release his waist tether from the airlock waist tether and egress the airlock.
Okay. And Shane, I'll go to egress the airlock. Now you're in a good config.
Okay, waist tether is released. My heca is on. I'll start coming out.
Copy, Shane.
Crew lock back 2 on my ret.
Copy.
All right, Tomas, see you there?
Looking good. You're out of your way.
All right, let me get my BRT out.
Close-up view of Thomas Pesquet on the left, Shane Kimbrough emerging from the Quest airlock on your right. The International Space Station flying 255 miles over Chad in Central Africa, moving from northwest to southeast.
All right, just got a crew lock bag on my BRT and on the BRT ret. So that's small.
All right.
Thermal cover, you ready for that?
Ready? When you close the thermal cover, I have steps for you if it does not stay closed.
Hold on, I'm getting, okay, now my waist tether's clear.
It's, well, looks like it's staying close for now.
Don't breathe.
Hey, Jenny, looks like it's staying close.
Copy.
You want us to put the wire tie or not?
To be safe, we are going to put the wire tie on anyway. So the wire tie, which you pre-staged, you can loop around the thermal cover soft goods handle. And keep in mind, we don't have helmet cams until we do our buddy checks.
Yep. He's working on this.
Okay, that's complete.
Complete.
Copy. We're ready for buddy checks when you are.
Checks. Shane, I see you have 2 green LEDs. It's on. It got 1, 2, 3 tabs up, 1 on your VRT, 2 on your workstation. Your 2 safer handles are down, and your tether is in a good config. You get your bag on your BRT, the red. Good.
Okay, Tomas, I see you have 2 green LEDs. Your lights are on. Your BRT tab is up. 1, 2, my new workstation tabs are up. Left safer handle's down. I can't see your right one. And right safer handle is down. And I see your tether behind you coming out your right side. That looks good, and I have a dry hat for you.
Okay. I should my tether starts from my left, right? And it goes across to my right.
Yes, I see that now, yep. Okay, going to your right side, yep.
Sounds good. And dry hat for EV1.
Copy. That is a good config. Well done. We will start with Shane translating out to the FSE tower handrail. Thomas, you can follow behind.
All right, Shane, get out of the way. Well, as soon as you pick up your local, you're good.
All right, Thomas. See you up there.
See you up there. And, 26-7.
Having conducted initial so-called buddy checks, making sure each other's suits are in the right configuration, Pesquet and Kimbrough now have completed the first phase of their post-egress activities. Pesquet about to make his way now over to the flight support equipment that houses the second of the ISS rollout solar arrays. He will be joined at the Port 6 work site by Shane Kimbrough a short time from now. The first order of business for Pesquet will be to use a pistol grip tool to release 2 bolts, boom end launch restraint bolts, in the first phase of ongoing activity that will ultimately result in the release of the array from its flight support equipment. That flight support equipment will be robotically transferred back to the trunk of the SpaceX Cargo Dragon vehicle to be later disposed of. SpaceX, that cargo vehicle to be undocked from the International Space Station on July 6th for an entry and splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean on July 7th, returning scientific payloads and other cargo from the station. Before splashdown, the trunk of Dragon will be jettisoned, and along with it, the flight support equipment that carried up these first 2 solar arrays.
No sudden movements, quick stops, quick grabs on the FSE. Wait until FSE motion dampens out before imparting any loads. While working on the FSE, you must not simultaneously impart loads, and do not contact by rows of blankets. These solar cells are fragile.
We copy all journey, no touch, recovery couplings, grapple fixture, bus cable, and gentle on the FSE.
CP2 copies.
Affirm.
One of the reels is not retracting very well.
Yeah.
It's like one of mine.
Yeah, you're getting close to the end.
Yep.
Of the tether.
Stop here and do it, or wait till they get up there?
Well, you're right there, you know?
I'm just going to stop here.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Ground copies.
Okay, a cycle difference seems to be working better now.
This work.
Copy, Shane.
Okay, I see EV1's anchor hook closed and locked. EV2's closed and locked, and EV2's is on 52, I think is the last two.
It's a good number.
EV1's is on 51.
Okay, copy. That's a good config.
I'm going to head out.
Concur. Shane, you can continue translating. You're translating outboard to P6, and it's Thomas who's translating to the FSC tower handrail.
Yep, copy. Well, keep an eye.
Pesquet and Kimbrough now making their way to their respective work sites. Pesquet to the flight support equipment housing the second of the first two ISS rollout solar arrays. Kimbrough making his way to the far port truss side of the International Space Station to await Pesquet's arrival with that array. The International Space Station about to cross the southeastern coast of Africa, moving to the south of Madagascar and over the Indian Ocean. We are in a handover between satellites on our tracking and data relay satellite system. We'll regain our downlink capability from the station momentarily.
We're back with you after a handover. Shane, I have warnings and cautions for you when ready.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Sharp as edge hazards on the MT rail attachment lug near the 2 Bravo IEA inboard radiator corner, and the pit pins on the ticker and the sticker do not meet EVA kick loads. As you continue to translate outboard, avoid contact with the deployed and stowed radiators, and the battery adapter plate cables on the IEA are a potential snag.
V2 copies all.
Cautionary instructions for Shane Kimbrough from Spacewalk communicator Jenny Seide here in Mission Control. Once Pesquet is at the flight support equipment, he will use a pistol grip tool to release a pair of bolts, boom end launch restraint bolts. The first in a series of such usage of the pistol grip tool throughout the course of the spacewalk that will free up the array and enable Pesquet to transport it while affixed to a foot restraint at the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm. He will be driven to the worksite to join Kimbrough. The robotics operator inside the station today is NASA astronaut Megan MacArthur.
Copy. You can continue to translate outboard to P6. I have a green hook handrail number when you're ready.
Yeah, just a minute on that, Jenny.
You're looking for handrail 5388, Shane.
Okay, copy.
And Jenny, I'm on the FSC. I'm making my way to the tower.
Copy. Good words, Thomas. You'll be stowing the crew lock bag there.
Copy.
A good view of the second of the ISS rollout solar arrays. There will be 6 such arrays attached and unfurled at the International Space Station on the port and starboard trusses of the station for 6 of the 8 power channels of the complex. The 6 power channels to be augmented with 20 kilowatts of power from each array, specifically selected because of the power demand for various systems that run on those 6 power channels.
All right, Jenny, I'm at my green hook location, so give me a minute to set that up.
Copy, Shane.
Okay, green hook on 5388.
Copy, Shane. You can translate to the mod kit left lower strut.
Shane Kimbrough, just about at the work site at the port 6 truss of the station, at the mounting bracket or so-called mod kit previously installed on a past EVA. He'll be stowing a crew lock bag with various equipment and tools that he and Pesquet will be using for the installation of the ISS rollout solar array at the opposite side of the truss to which the 2B rollout solar array was installed this past Sunday.
How you doing, Thomas?
Doing good, Shane. I'm been working on the crew lock bag. Done in a minute.
Shane, I have a caution for you when ready.
Go ahead.
No sudden movements on the mass canister or mod kit. Translate slowly and avoid cyclic loading.
Then you have the crew lock bag on handrail 0013.
Copy. That's a good config, Thomas. Next, we'll be releasing R1 and R2, so you can translate to the zenith boom end of IROSA.
Copy, all
R1 and R2, referred to by Spacewalk communicator Jenny Seide, are the boom end launch restraint bolts. The first of 4 bolts. There will be 2 additional bolts for the outer deployment restraints on the IROSA or ISS rollout solar array. A good shot of Pesquet from a truss camera on the station as he begins work with a pistol grip tool to free up the array that he will transport over to the far port end of the truss or backbone of the station to hand off to Shane Kimbrough in this choreography that is expected to result in the installation of the array on the mounting bracket or mod kit for the 4B power channel of the Port 6 truss of the International Space Station, that will be then unfolded and unfurled to its full length of about 63 feet.
Jenny, I'm at the IAA. I'm going to lead my safety tether here.
Copy, Shane. Just give us words on how you do that. This is the rich man's you told us about, correct?
Correct on 5359.
Copy, 5359 for your safety tether fair lead, Shane.
Jenny, I'm in position to drive R1 and R2.
Copy. You ready for settings?
Let me calibrate my PDE, and I'll be ready.
Copy. Sounds good. Shane, you'll be stowing the crew lock bag on the left lower strut handrail closest to the mounting bracket. That's the lower handrail stanchion.
My fair lead is in.
Copy, Shane.
Jenny, I'm ready for PG settings.
Alpha 4, counter 2.
Copy Alpha 4. Counter.
Good read back. Again, counter 2. You will be releasing R1 and R2 10 to 13 turns each. The bolts will spring out when fully released, and it's about 3 minutes until our first eclipse.
I had to cal again. I think I bumped it too up. Can you give me those settings or number of turns one more time just to be sure?
No problem. Alpha 4, counter 2, 10 to 13 turns.
10 to 13 turns, and I'm working on R1. Jenny, I have 12 turns, and the bolt is popped out.
Copy. 12 turns, the bolt popped out. Was that R1 or 2?
Pesquet using a pistol grip tool at the 34-minute mark into today's spacewalk by Pesquet and Kimbrough. Pesquet with the red stripes says EV1, or extravehicular crew member number 1, using this device to release a pair of bolts, the first of a series of bolts that will free up the roll-out solar array so it can be removed from its flight support equipment to be transported by Pesquet at the end of the station's robotic arm over to join Shane Kimbrough, who is now at the port 6 or far port truss at the end of the backbone of the station on the left side of the station.
The scoop will be facing inboard.
Working on my deconfigure from the crew.
And you have 11.5 turns, both fully popped out on R2.
Copy, 11.5 turns on R2. The bolt is fully popped out. You can rotate both boom deployment system rollers to the deployed position.
It works. How you doing, Shane?
Good, I'm setting up, getting the scoop out right now. Set up.
For both of you this time, I'll need us to turn on our HECAs one more time and report whether you have a green light, please.
Is on, green light.
Copy for EP2.
All1 is fully rotated, and Jenny, mine is on with a green light. On and off and on.
Affirm, Thomas, let's cycle it.
Off. And he's back on with a green LED.
Copy, thanks, Thomas. Thomas, with the boom deployment system rollers deployed, we can move on to R3 and R4.
I'm still working on R2, Jenny. It's slow. It goes slow.
Copy.
Jenny, the installed still attached to the crew like that.
Copy, Shane. You cut out a bit there. I understand the scoop is installed and it's still attached to the crew lock bag. Okay, copy. Shane, your next task is to route the wire cables on the right side of the mod kit. You can head if you need additional words on routing.
Right side cables.
Jenny, I'm having my PGT. I'll be ready for settings on R3 and R4.
Copy, Thomas. As a reminder,
I will start with R4.
you're going to start with R4, understood, and these are the bolts. As a reminder that we will be releasing 245 turns. So we'll verify the PGT turn count is 0 before we start, and if you call out the turns at an interval of your choosing, we'll follow along with you.
Yep, that sounds good.
R3 and R4 are a pair of outer deployment restraint bolts. The second pair of bolts that Pesquet is releasing to enable the solar array to be removed from its flight support equipment.
So 3. Also 3. That's 0. Now go ahead and drive R4.
Copy.
turns now. And 30. How you doing, Shane?
Good, I'm getting your cables here. Driving the...
That. Seat turns.
Right on your right cables.
Copy.
Seat turns. Under turns.
Copy.
And then 30 turns. And then 50. Underneath. Under turns.
Nice.
Twenty. Minute 35. 40. 145 turns on R4, Jenny.
Copy. 245 turns on R4. Now we'll check that the tie-down bolt protrudes from the base of the iRosa root beam. Should be just on the other side of the handrail from you.
I can see that very clearly, Jenny. It protrudes out very nicely.
Excellent. Well done. We'll move on to R3. We have new settings for you.
The first two bolts have been released, holding the array in place on the flight support structure. Pesquet now will press ahead to release two more bolts, the outer deployment restraint bolts, with his pistol grip tool. We are now 44 minutes into the spacewalk, the crew right on the timeline. For those watching NASA television and who have been following the launch of a sounding rocket from the Wallops Flight Facility, Virginia, on the media channel, that activity was successfully completed a few minutes ago, and so we are now simulcasting on both the public and media channels for the remainder of today's spacewalk.
Turns. Five turns. Turns. How are those cables treating you, Shane?
I just got the first wire tie down.
Right.
Still working.
140 turns. Jenny, are you getting our headcap video now?
We are for both crews, thanks.
Oh, thanks. Other than 75 turns.
The main wire tie is not far enough out, Jenny.
So your last, Shane?
I'm going to have to reposition this wire tie. It's not far enough out.
All right, we copy.
One on the red.
No rushing, but plenty of time. 15 turns. $30, $35, $40, 35 turns on R3, Jenny. I see the indicator popped up. Actually, it did in 210 and 220 turns, if that's data that you're interested in.
Copy, that's good for us to know, but we also copy 245 turns on the bolt. Thank you, Thomas. You can stow your PGT and translate back to the tower handrail. You'll be stowing your PGT and retrieving Shane's.
Copy.
Shane, after you're finished placing that last wire tie, you'll be pre-staging the adjustable equipment tethers on the upper strut and the lower strut handrails for when we install iRosa.
I'm getting my PGT as a red to power handrail. I'm going to go ahead and retrieve Shane's green PGT from my crew lock bag.
Good words, Thomas.
Hey, Jimmy, I got an adjustable on the upper handrail. It's a large, small adjustable on the upper handrail on the lower struts.
Copy, Shane. That is a good config. You can head back to the cable bag and pick up the left wire cables. We'll be doing the same thing on the left side of the mod kit, but keep in mind when you pre-stage the tethers, you'll probably need to pick up tethers from the crew lock bag.
Copy that. Thank you. Under. Okay, I'm going to head back and get the white kit.
Copy, Shane.
This is Mission Control Houston, 55 minutes into today's spacewalk. Thomas Pesquet, using a pistol grip tool, has released 4 bolts, restraint bolts used to maintain the ISS rollout solar array in a safe configuration on flight support equipment it launched on in the trunk of the cargo Dragon vehicle that arrived at the station a few weeks ago.
We're going to verify that R5 is released.
Okay. So that's on the other side, closer to Polo. I'm going to translate nadir R5, Jenny. That's good with you.
That sounds good to me, and good words. R5 is next to Stanchion Bravo, so Zenith inboard by the POA.
The R5 bolt being referred to by Spacewalk communicator Jenny Seide is a hinge restraint for the solar array on its flight support structure. Next up for Pesquet would be the release of anti-rotation devices. This was a feature installed for launch to maintain structural integrity for the array on the flight support equipment.
Major better. Okay. You can see R5. Looks like it's fully popped out.
Copy, and it should be fully sprung out if it's released.
There's no marking though, but it looks like it is protruding a lot from the base. I think it's a good release. I don't think I can get my hand there though.
Copy, Thomas. Can you use the socket of the PGT just to check that it is fully sprung out, please?
That's what I was thinking, but is the PGT right size?
Jenny, I have the white cables. I'm at the lower struts. Okay.
Copy, Shane. And Thomas, you do have the correct socket.
Yeah, Jenny, I can push it in and out with the sockets. It's fully released.
Copy. That sounds great to us. You can stow your PGT, and we'll move on to the anti-rotation devices. So that has you starting at C11, which is nadir and outboard.
Copy. Making my way back to C11.
Good words.
Jenny, I see 11.
Copy, Thomas. You can attach your adjustable equipment tether to the ARD tether point.
You want Jenny?
All right, Jenny, same story here. I'll have to
Copy, Shane.
This is Mission Control Houston, 1 hour into today's spacewalk by Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency and Shane Kimbrough of NASA, the third spacewalk this duo has conducted in the past 9 days.
We know that was
Pesquet is in the process of working to release a series of bolts holding the ISS rollout solar array for the 4B power channel on the International Space Station's P6 truss from its flight support equipment. Shane Kimbrough is over at the P6 worksite as he is stowing equipment and preparing to route a series of cables that ultimately will be used to hook the array up to the electronics assembly for the P6 truss integrated electronics system.
Good work on the cables, Shane.
Yeah, getting there.
The spacewalk began at 6:52 a.m. Central Time, 7:52 a.m. Eastern Time, when Pesquet and Kimbrough placed their suits on battery power in the Quest airlock. They moved outside, configured their tools and tethers, and then made their way to their respective work sites to begin the process of removing this array from its flight support equipment that it was launched on a few weeks ago on the SpaceX Cargo Dragon vehicle. The array will be moved by Pesquet while he is affixed in a foot restraint at the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm over to the P6 worksite, the installation worksite, where Kimbrough is waiting for him. He will be driven on that arm by astronaut Megan MacArthur, operating the arm from a robotics workstation inside the International Space Station. Here, Giussani is watching over the work being conducted by the crew, assisted by spacewalk communicator Jenny Sidey, the astronaut from the Canadian Space Agency.
Fixed. The turns on the stop block bolts.
Copy, that was 7 turns, Thomas?
That was 10 turns, Jenny.
Copy, 10 turns. Thank you, Thomas. You can release the ARD, and then I have new settings to drive that stop block bolt back to torque.
Okay.
Jenny, tie down's complete. I'm working on the...
Copy, Shane.
Once Pesquet has removed this anti-rotation device, another launch restraint mechanism holding the array in place on the flight support equipment, he will then begin to break torque on the final bolts holding the array in place. There's a view of the Canadarm2 robotic arm. A portable foot restraint will be affixed to the end of the arm by Pesquet. He will then mount that foot restraint to move the freed solar array over to the P6 worksite where Kimbrough is waiting.
Okay. ARD is released on C11.
Copy, Thomas. I have settings when you're ready.
Okay, just 1 second. I'm ready, Jenny.
Bravo 1, clockwise 2.
Bravo 1. Flight 2 is set.
Good words. You'll be driving the stop block bolt to torque.
Driving the stop block bolt. To torque, sorry. Mark.
Jenny, the adjustables are in place on the left.
Copy, Shane. Next up for you is to pre-stage a wire tie and tether on the middle soft capture feature. When you do this, we want it to be fully slack so that the soft capture feature is able to engage initially when we're at the mod kit.
We have a 11.9 torque, green light, 3.5 turns. It's just like last time, the stop block rides up on the base of C11, so it looks snug to me.
Okay, copy, Thomas. That's fine with us. You got a green light, 11.9 on the torque. That was 8.5 turns. You can stow your PGT.
So that was 3.5, Jenny. 3.5.
Copy, 3.5. Thank you. You can stow your PGT and translate to Charlie 12.
Pesquet is moving smartly along in the release of a variety of different bolts and launch restraints holding the array in place on this flight support equipment. He is in the process of breaking torque on the final bolts holding the IROSA or the ISS rollout solar array in place. Meantime, Shane Kimbrough is pre-positioning equipment along the mast canister at the very base of the P6 solar array, where a mod kit or mounting bracket is set up, which this second solar array will be. The 2B array was attached during
Hi, Jenny, I'm in position Charlie 12, and I'm ready for setting.
Copy. Confirm that you've attached your adjustable to the ARD tether point.
I'm in a better position.
We have a guys.
Thanks. Hi, Jenny, I have the other end of my AET on this ARD tether point, and I am ready for setting.
Good words, Thomas. Bravo 3, counter 2.
Bravo 3, counter 2.
Release
Bravo
the
3. Hi, Jenny.
stop block bolt, 10 turns only.
Turns on the stop block.
This is Mission Control continuing to take questions in on hashtag Ask NASA from our viewers. Twitter user asks, how do the astronauts away in space? All these tools are in a device called a tool caddy, which is essentially a tool bag that they carry along with them and which is double tethered to various positions along the paths of their movements on the outside of the International Space Station. They simply reach into the bag, pull out a tool, make sure it's securely tethered in place so it doesn't float away, and then use those tools as necessary. Kate on Twitter asks, do all the astronauts train for solar array EVAs or spacewalks like Thomas and Shane are conducting? The answer, not exactly. All crews flying on the International Space Station have crew members who are trained in generic tasks, contingency tasks, in the event certain critical hardware is broken and must be replaced, and then mission-specific tasks, such as the ones we're watching for this solar array work, they are specifically trained for by crew members on the assumption that they're going to be aboard the International Space Station at the time that hardware arrives in orbit.
Ready to head back to Thomas?
Shane, you can verify that the strut MLI is clear for our ROSA install, and then we'll have you release your fair lead, pick up your green hook, and head back inboard.
Okay, the MLI is green all. That's it.
Okay. Second ALD is retrieved on my AET, Jenny.
Copy, Thomas. Let me know when you're ready for settings to drive the stop block bolt to torque.
I'm ready.
Bravo 1, clockwise 2.
Bravo 1, clockwise 2. Jenny, 11.9 on the torque, good green light, and 4.2 turns.
Copy, Thomas. 11.9 torque, green light, 4.2 on the turns. The stop block bolt is driven to torque. You can stow your PGT.
PGT is stowed, and I'm heading back to the crew lock bag.
Affirm. When you are at...
Thomas.
Go ahead, Shane.
Just nicely done.
Agreed. Nicely done, Thomas. When you're at the crew lock bag, you can stow the adjustable equipment tether with the ARDs, retrieve the scoop with the long-duration tie-down tether, and we'll also be doing a socket swap on the green PGT.
The anti-rotation devices have now been released by Pesquet. Next up, braking torque on the final bolts holding the rollout solar array on the flight support equipment on the truss of the station. There's a good view of Thomas Pesquet at the flight support equipment. At the top of the screen is the second of the rollout solar arrays to be installed on the P6 truss of the International Space Station. This one for the 4B power channel, matching the 2B channel array that was installed during the last spacewalk this past Sunday. Just before we lost our signal during a handover between satellites on the Tracking and Data Relay satellite system, the International Space Station flying into an orbital sunrise, about to cross the coastline at the border between California and Oregon, moving from southwest to northeast, soon to cross the Pacific Northwest.
Back to the bag. I'm retrieving the scoop.
Copy, Thomas. We're back with you after a handover. I copy that you are retrieving the scoop from the crew lock bag. Can you confirm whether you stowed the adjustable?
Yes, correct. Stowed and then retrieved.
Copy all.
The rollout solar array technology being installed on the space station to augment the power capability of the complex is going to be used for the Gateway program, the Gateway being an outpost that will be developed and orbited to fly to orbit the moon, to provide support for the human return to the lunar surface and a staging point for deep space exploration. It's a critical component of the Artemis program. You can see in this graphic the current legacy or heritage ISS solar array wings and their vast size, the comparative size of the rollouts solar arrays being installed on the International Space Station to provide an additional 120 kilowatts of power for station systems, payloads, and new modules to be launched to the complex. And on the far right, what the power and propulsion element for Gateway, that solar array wing, is going to look like for the hardware that will be launched to orbit the moon, serving as a way station for deep space exploration.
On the green PGT.
Good words.
Yeah, I have my green hook coming in.
Copy, Shane. You'll be translating to the FSE grapple tower. Just coordinate with Thomas when moving on the FSE.
"255 miles over Idaho, Thomas Pesquet is at the flight support equipment. He'll be braking torque on the final set of bolts holding the solar array that you see at the top of your screen to that structure.
After 12-inch 760 on the socket caddy, j'ai cliqué pour test. Now I'm retrieving the 5/8 12-inch my PD.
Copy. And good pull test on the 7/16 12-inch.
Going tomorrow.
Doing good.
I'm here ready to come on the FSC whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay.
No hurry. See your safety tether there. Good. at your crew lock bag right now?
I'm at the crew lock bag, working on my pocket swap.
Should I go on this routing to get it?
I didn't copy that, Shane. You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, which route should I take to get there to not interfere?
I think it doesn't really matter. I think my sit center is kind of more nadir right now, and I'll go nadir for the fault. So you can go zenith.
Gather as well. Try to avoid that.
And I got a 5/8 12-inch on my PGT. Good pull test.
Copy, Thomas. We'll now be braking torque on the IROSA FSE bolts, Charlie 12 and Charlie 11. We'll be starting with Charlie 12.
Copy, Charlie 12. Okay, Shane, let me know when you've stopped translating.
You're coming nadir?
I'm coming nadir.
On right now. I'm clear of your tether.
Are you on the FSE?
I am. On the zenith right now.
Shane Kimbrough now joining Pesquet at the flight support equipment to lend a hand as Pesquet is about to work with his pistol grip tool to release a final pair of bolts.
Copy, you stop translating. I have a go to translate.
Holding the solar array that you see at the very top of your screen to this flight support equipment. The two arrays, this first pair of arrays, were launched in the trunk of the SpaceX Cargo Dragon vehicle a few weeks ago. This flight support equipment will be robotically detached from its location that you see on the truss and reinstalled in the trunk of Dragon. SpaceX is scheduled to undock the Cargo Dragon vehicle on July 6th and deorbit for a splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean the following day, bringing home scientific experiments and other cargo. The trunk of Dragon will be jettisoned and disposed of with that flight support equipment prior to the re-entry of the Dragon for its parachute-assisted splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean.
Braking torque, and your settings are Bravo 3, counter 2.
Up to half-stone braking torque, Bravo 3, counter 2.
A-firm.
I'm at the tower, and I'll just hold here.
Okay.
And Shane, understand you're holding in position. I'll have big picture words for both of you once Thomas breaks torque on Charlie 12.
Sounds good, Jenny. Got Bravo 3. Did you say clockwise? 2 or counter 2? Counter 2, correct?
Counter 2.
Okay, Bravo 3, counter 2, Charlie 12. That's the turn.
Good words.
Okay, that's done.
Copy. You can translate to Charlie 11.
11.
Big picture for you both. We are more or less on timeline. PET 1 hour 25 minutes, and our limiting consumable is 7 hour 10 minute on EV2 MEDOX.
Copy, Jenny.
At this point, Shane, we're going to have you hold position. I have a couple of steps for you, but primarily we will be waiting to release Charlie 11 once Thomas has configured the arm. In the meantime, I'll take a glove inspection and a hap check from you.
EV1's gloves look good, no change, dry hap.
Copy.
Ready, I'm in position for Charlie 11.
Copy. Same settings, Bravo 3, counter 2, and you'll just be braking torque.
Bravo 3, counter 2. Okay, torque is broken on Charlie 11.
Copy. We'll now be releasing the iROSA FSE bolts. So starting with Charlie 11, so in your current location, we'll be releasing it 27 turns only, which is just halfway, so not fully releasing the bolts. And your settings are Bravo 3, counter 3.
Bravo 3, counter 3. I'll put down my BRT for charge day.
Copy. Shane, you can retrieve the square scoop from the crew lock bag and stow it on your mini workstation, and I'll also get a confirmation of a green light on your HECA when you're ready.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're approaching the 1 hour 30-minute mark into today's spacewalk by Pesquet and Kimbrough. The crew just about on the timeline. Pesquet is releasing the last of the bolts holding the iROSA or ISS rollout solar array in place on the flight support equipment, being assisted by Shane Kimbrough. You can see him using a pistol grip tool. Once these bolts are released, Pesquet then will set up a portable foot restraint at the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm that he will plant his feet in for a ride over to the P6 truss while he holds the array for a handoff to Kimbrough in the first phase of the actual installation process on a mounting bracket at the base of the mast canister at the base of the P6 truss structure.
You can stow your PGT and translate to Charlie 12.
The EV2 has a green light on the HECA.
Copy, Shane. And Shane, we're also going to take a power cycle on the HECA as well.
You want to get the scoop, you said?
A-firm, you're retrieving the scoop and stowing it on your mini workstation.
That's it.
Jetty, I'm ready for settings on Charlie 12.
Bravo 3, counter 3.
Bravo 3, counter 3.
A-firm, and you'll be releasing Charlie 12, 51 to 54 bolts. The bolt will spring out when fully released.
Charlie 12, 1 to 5 turns, 54 turns, sorry.
A-firm.
me for EV2, power cycle my back out, and I'm going to get speed long duration tied on tether as well. Is that good?
Copy, Shane. And Shane, that's right. You will be retrieving a long duration tied on tether as well. Good catch.
Okay, Jenny, I have to work a little bit on my body position here. So bear with me for a second. And that's all.
Copy.
How you doing, Shane?
Good, I'm just hanging out at the tower here, just
Okay.
ready for the next up my workstation.
Okay.
Serious turns on the PGT.
I'm sorry, what?
You're getting some serious turns on the PGT.
Didn't copy. I only hear turn on the PGT, Shane. What's your question?
Oh, sorry, I said you're getting a lot of turns on it.
No. I haven't started yet. I'm working on my body position. All right, Jenny, I'm ready for Charlie 12. 4 turns. It's a better position.
Copy, Thomas.
Back. See, yeah, Rosa, move a little bit up. Five turns. 1. 39, 40. We've all popped out. 45 turns and it's popped out, Jenny.
Copy, C12 is fully released, popped out. Was that 45 turns, Thomas?
Correct. Need a couple more. Now I'm at 50 with the voltage keeping. I think it's a good release. Probably 12.
Okay, understood. You can stow your PGT, and then I'll take a glove inspection and HAP check when ready.
Okay. good gloves.
Copy, Thomas. You'll be installing a square scoop on the root beam microsquare near Charlie 12. The handle will be facing nadir.
Copy. Dark.
Thomas Pesquet about to complete the loosening of bolts, holding the ISS rollout solar array in place on its flight support equipment.
And the scoop is locked. Pointing nadir on the micro fixture next to Charlie 12 or Charlie 6.
Copy, Thomas. Remove your RET and translate back to the tower handrail. Also, check HAP is dry.
HAP dry. And I'll just link back to the tower handrail.
Copy.
Stay put here, Tom. I'll wait on you.
Yep.
As the International Space Station prepares to cross the northwest coast of Africa on a trajectory from northwest to southeast, Thomas Pesquet has completed the loosening of bolts that has held the IROSA, or ISS rollout solar array, in place on its flight support equipment. Next up for Pesquet, who's at the bottom of your screen, Shane Kimbrough at the top of your screen, will be for Pesquet to set up a portable foot restraint at the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm.
Shane, here comes your ring PGT if you want. Actually, let's stand by. Got it. I actually need the red. There you go. So here. I got a fence. I'll give you your back. Here, my red. You want me to do a socket swap now or wait? With this one? Yeah. Breaking up, Shane. Anything? Copy that? Never mind. But I got to drive C1. Okay. I'm going to head to the arm now.
Thomas.
Journey's back.
That's right, Thomas. You can translate to the port CETA cart, and then we will have you give SSRMS a go when you're ready for the published APFR reconfig position.
Okay, copy. Report CETA cart, and I give Martin, I'm going to go when I'm ready.
I'm going to stay here and just to make sure you get cleared with your tether and mine.
Okay.
Before I do anything.
I think it's a good idea.
Let me know when you're clear.
The view from Thomas Pesquet's helmet camera as he is right at that flight support equipment and looking right at the ISS rollout solar array. Moments from now, they'll get the go-ahead to begin work to affix an articulating portable foot restraint to the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm. Megan MacArthur inside the International Space Station at the controls of the arm from a robotics workstation. She'll be maneuvering the arm into the proper position for Pesquet to install that foot restraint at the end of the arm. He will ultimately ride in the foot restraint at the end of the arm, holding the array that will transport him and the array to the Port 6 truss worksite, where it will be installed on a mounting bracket for its unfolding and unfurling. And the view of Pesquet wearing the suit bearing the red stripes. You can see the Canadarm2 poised to accept the installation of that foot restraint. The next task on Pesquet's list of things to do as he and Kimbrough work in tandem at the 1 hour 43-minute mark into today's spacewalk.
And I will be ready for GCA to the APFR setup position.
Copy. We've got a position that will move 50 centimeters station zenith.
All right, that sounds good, and I'll probably need more, but I'll let you know. Let's start with 50 centimeters, and you can start GCA.
Copy. Start GCA. We're starting motion.
And I see good motion.
Good motion. $25 centimeters to go.
Continue motion.
MacArthur operating the arm, Van de Heye providing visual cues from inside the station as the arm makes its way towards where Pesquet is located. Again, he soon will be installing this articulating portable foot restraint to the end of the arm to serve as a foot platform, a work platform for his transport over to the P6 worksite.
Zenith, can you give me, like I said, 25 or 30 centimeters station aft? I have a great view of the clearance right here.
Copy. 30 centimeters station aft. Starting motion.
I see good motion.
Copy. Good motion. $20 centimeters to go.
Motion. And Mark, you can stop motion right here. I think this is a good position.
Okay, stop motion.
I'll call that GCA complete.
Okay, GCA complete. Brakes are on. Go for APFR reconfig.
Copy, brakes on, nice work.
Understand brakes on. Thomas, you can ret to the APFR. You'll release it and install it with a clocking of 12.
Copy, Jenny, that's in work.
Shane, we still have you holding position on the FSE. We don't have any get-ahead steps for you right now, so you can position to release Charlie 11 near stanchion Delta. So that's outboard and nadir, pretty close to where you are now, and we'll just have you hold there.
Copy, Jenny. I'll put over there and.
Copy.
Jenny, APSR is out. I've already installed the clocking of 12. Okay, the paddles are out. The collar is locked black on black. And I have a good pull and tug test. The clocking of 12, Jenny.
Copy, Thomas. Good install. Verify APFR settings, Papa Papa, Fox 6.
Yeah, Papa Papa, Foxtrot 6, Jenny. These are correct settings.
Copy. You can release your RET, and then I'll talk you through the tether swap.
I have my red back on me, Jenny.
Copy.
For the tether swap.
Lock your green tether reel and check green hook locked.
Okay, my green tether reel locked. My green hook locked.
Copy. Move yellow hook to SSRMS handrail tether point, and I'll take checks.
The yellow hook on the SSRMS tether point is locked black on black, and the red reel is unlocked.
Copy. Attach green hook to the port CETA cart and unlock your green tether reel.
My green hook is attached to the port CETA cart, and my green reel is unlocked.
Good config. Give SSRMS a go to GCA to the published APFR ingress position.
All right. Mark, I'm bringing myself out of the SSRMS. Let me send the ingress aid first to help. Initially for me. And Mark, Megan, you guys are go. And, go station aft. Sorry, station forward first if you need to, and then station nadir. That'd be nice.
Copy. The published position is station forward 20 centimeters and station nadir 50 centimeters. We'll do those in series if you agree.
That sounds perfect, Mark.
Okay, if you agree, we'll call that start GCA.
We'll start GCA.
And starting motion.
Good motion, station forward.
Good motion. Less than 10 to go.
Copy.
We see forward motion, now we're going to do the nadir motion, 50 centimeters.
50 centimeters. Sure, sounds good.
Starting motion.
Good motion, station nadir.
Fifteen centimeters to go, 10.
Published.
And correction, we got now 5 centimeters to go. And that's the published position. How does that look, Thomas?
That looks good, maybe 10 more, station forward.
Please, 10 more, station forward.
All right.
Starting motion.
That's a good motion.
That's a good motion.
And we can stop motion, that's nice. It's a good position, I'll call that GCA complete.
GCA complete.
Mark Vandehei providing visual cues. Megan MacArthur maneuvering the arm from the robotics workstation inside the International Space Station. Thomas Pesquet at the arm, ready to plant his feet in the portable foot restraint for the operation to actually release the rollout solar array from its flight support equipment.
So you go for that tether and to ingress the APFR.
Okay. Now, Shane, if you have eyes on your tether, because it's going behind my back, that's where it's supposed to be, but just making sure.
Do not have eyes on it.
Can you move a little bit? And I think you can see it should translate. Sorry. You should have.
Down towards the tower, and I think it'll.
Yeah, you can copy your last, Shane.
Go around over towards the tower, and I think it'll help clear it.
No, I'm in the APFR. Good.
Copy, Thomas. Check your tools and tethers are clear and the ingress aid is stowed.
The ingress aid is stowed. Tools and tethers are cleared.
You can give SS.
Tidy up my BRT just a bit. By one, just a bit, Jenny. Right?
Copy. Thomas, when you're ready, you can give SSRMS a go to maneuver.
I'd like Shane to have eyes on the tether because he's kind of on my back.
I have eyes on now, Thomas.
Yeah?
Got to about 2 feet above you is my tether.
Okay.
But I'll watch it.
Look good to you?
Yep, it's good right now.
How does my APFR look? Look good?
That looks great.
Okay. With that, Mark, I am ready for the maneuver to the ingress back off position.
After we're putting that work, we'll give you a call when we start moving.
That's great. Nice work, Shane, on P6.
Well, thanks. You too, man. You were driving some serious bolts.
Starting motion, station forward.
Copy. That's a good motion, Mark.
Thanks.
Mark, stop motion.
Motion.
My tether now is up against the split. Can you go station nadir first or not?
We actually just completed the forward motion, so we can definitely go nadir. That would be our next step.
And Shane, I'll try to bend forward as much as I can.
I'm up almost against the...
Thomas Pesquet working with Mark Vandehei to properly position Pesquet at the fine-tuned orientation for the release of the IROSA solar array.
For me and Shane as the clearance.
Okay, thanks. Tether are cleared. Continuing station nadir.
Motion to EV2.
Copy, thanks.
Oh, you're now clear of my tether.
Thanks, Shane, for your help.
Operating like a utility worker at the end of a portable platform. Pesquet at the end of the Canadarm2, and the view on the right is from his helmet camera, being maneuvered into the proper position for the release of the IROSA solar array from its flight support equipment.
Manual maneuvers completed. We're getting set up for the joint OCAS.
Copy.
While we're getting configured for the joint OCAS, I'll get a glove inspection and HAP check from both Shane and Thomas.
Jenny, good gloves for me, and HAP is dry.
Gloves EV2, dry out.
Copy. Good checks on EV1 and EV2. And for your awareness, we are having issues with HECA today, so I'll ask you a couple more times during this CVA, I'm sure, to power cycle and check for a green light. I'll get you both to do that now.
Okay, Jenny, no problem. I'll have a green light now, and I'll power cycle. Off. I come with a green light for EV1.
Copy EV1 and 2.
And 2 power cycle.
Copy 2.
So now we're a switch through away from joint OCAS 1 of 1 in Vern.
Thanks, Mark. I am ready for motion.
Starting that motion.
And I see good motion.
Two hours into today's spacewalk, Thomas Pesquet now being maneuvered toward the solar array at the very bottom of your screen. Shane Kimbrough nearby as he monitors this part of the procedure that will result in the release of the array, and then Pesquet will be maneuvered as he holds the array over to the P6 worksite.
Coming over here tomorrow, looking good.
All right, thanks, Shane.
By the way, Tomas, this is a total of 2 minutes in the journal cast. I don't think I told you that earlier, so I'm not sure how far into that we are.
Okay, Mark, sounds good. Then getting close to that roll south. So it's all good. I'll be a bit more.
.30 seconds to hand over.
Copy, Jenny.